And good evening, and welcome to Impact 2025. I'm glad to have you. I guess some of you already noticed that our normal guest, Nathaniel Watkins, not here with us right now, and but we're going to move on. Amen. Now, for those of you who don't know, Impact 2025 is kind of like our, I guess I would say, talk show um, program where we have an opportunity to talk about today's issues and today's topics, and we talk about them from a Christian perspective. You know, one of the things that I think we are called to do as the church is not only to deal with quote unquote spiritual issues and make things so spiritual, but we have to deal with the fact that we got issues every day that we got to deal with. And so every week we come together and we, as well as we can, we look at what is going on in the world, and we kind of come at it and talk about it. And so this ministry is brought to you by Monty Christian Ministries, and we are located at 501 West 9 Mile Road in Highland Springs, Virginia. And we invite you to come and share with us and worship on Sundays at 10 o'clock. Also on Tuesdays, as you know, we have Impact 2025 at 8 o'clock, but from 7 to 7:45, we have time of prayer. And wherever you are, we invite you to be in prayer with us. And if you do have prayer concerns that you'd like to share with us, you can leave us a message at 804-486-9200, and we'd be more than happy to include you on our prayer list. Also on Thursdays at 7 o'clock, again here on Facebook and YouTube, we have Thursday Thirst, which is our Bible study ministry. And so we invite you to come and share as we study the Word of God. Amen. We also, during this time of Impact 2025, we invite you that if you have any questions or any comments that you would like to make, to place them in the comment section, and we will get to you. We'll read them, and any questions, we'll try to answer them. All right? Amen. We're glad again that you've come to share with us. And I just opened up tonight, and so let's welcome Nathaniel Watkins as he comes and brings our topic for this evening. Okay?
And welcome to Impact 2025. As was stated earlier, we jump right into our topic. Again, I'll remind, even though it was already reminded, that you can type your questions and your comments into the comments section. So feel free to participate. This is not just a conversation. Well, this is a conversation. It's not just me speaking, but it's a conversation. If you have the opportunity, by typing in what you want to say, how you feel, any questions that you may have, and so that they can be brought up on the screen and addressed. And so whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, whatever, go ahead and type your comments and your questions in there, and then we can jump right to them. As you know, just like everybody else knows, there's a lot of things going on in the world. This has been one of the craziest, I'll say, 2 months that I've ever seen. You constantly have news going on. You have news about things going on in the government. You have weird things happening with plane crashes and near plane crashes and other natural disasters going on. You just have crazy, crazy news going on absolutely everywhere. So we always have the ability to talk about, anything. We have numerous topics to talk about. So I'm going. The topic we're going to talk about. I'm going to get us there. If you can stay with me for a quick second, I'm going to get us there. One of the biggest things that people are talking about is Doge. And if you don't know what that is, that's a department. That's a department in the federal government that's trying to make everything more efficient. Try to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse, as they say. And that's what it stands for. It's the Department of Government Efficiency. So they're trying to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. And so this one is run by Elon Musk. He's a billionaire who is many people say is a genius business person. He was able to take an electric vehicle car company and make that without commercials, without really any advertising, and made it into the biggest electric vehicle car company in the world. And so able to build out an infrastructure. He has a SpaceX company where he's sending rockets into space. And he also took over Twitter, which he then turned into X. And so people really say like he's a great business mind, great business person. And so this Doge thing has been going on. They've been cutting jobs. They decided to cut provisional jobs in the government, and then found out that that doesn't make a lot of sense because provisional people are people who usually have been there less than 3 years, usually 2 years on a provisional job. And so they decided that we're going to cut all the people on provisional jobs. And what they found out is, and won't admit, but what they found out is many of the people that they cut that are on provisional are people who are necessary, people who are needed, people who are in high importance jobs of security, jobs of that if you take them away, there's also a security risk. They had some people in the nuclear scenario. They had some people who were working on the bird flu, which is can turn into a pandemic if we're not careful. But there was another thing. Provisional jobs are also people who just recently got promoted. And so you could have been there for 20 years and then just got promoted and now you're provisional. And so now you're looking at some of your top performers who are now let go because they're provisional. And so as a result, the government had to go back and chase down some of these people, trying to find them and rehire them. It's been a mess. Again, but they won't admit it. But it's been an absolute mess. And you're just cutting jobs, not because you know what you're doing. They're sending, from what they say, they're sending teenagers, 19-year-olds, young 20-year-old guys in there to kind of look at the jobs, make an assessment, and then make decisions. And just doesn't make a lot of sense. And so, and again, we're going to get there. You hear a lot of people who defend it by saying, well, he's a great businessman. He knows what he's doing. This is what he did at his company and able to optimize it and made it more lean and efficient. So he had to get rid of a bunch of people and they had to close departments and then they reopen, blah, 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 blah. But I say to you, and I'm talking from a place of experience here because I went to school and I have a master's degree in government affairs, in local government. And so I'm talking from somebody who knows about the public sector. Anyone who says that we should run the government like a business is foolish in their thinking. They haven't thought out the whole entire thing. If you're a great business person, like Elon Musk, a great businessman, that has nothing to do with the public sector. One, you're trying to make profit. The other one is not making profit. And when you're talking about efficiency and things like that, that makes sense from a business standpoint. But government is inefficient. It is not efficient to run streetlights all night. That's not efficient. That's not the efficient way to do it. But it's the safe way to do it. It's what we need. It's not efficient to have Social Security or Medicare or Medicaid. It's not efficient to have a military. Those are not efficient things. Those are products that benefit everybody and nobody's really putting in on that other than taxes. And so there's no profit margin there. It's not efficient. They're the big organizations or big products and big things, and they're not efficient. But that's what government is. If it was efficient, then it would be private sector. Why is that important? Because I think we have a problem here in the United States, and we have a problem with people who think that they know what they're doing in their area, in their section, and then want to bring it over to another area in another section. Let's bring it home a little bit closer. You have people who say, hey man, I ran a good business. I had my own company. I know what I'm doing. So this is how we need to run the church. This is how we grow the church. This is how we operate with the church and blah, 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 blah. Well, same scenario. That would be foolish because the church is not a business. Now, you've seen some people who try to run it like a business. You've seen people who try to run churches like a casino or like a amusement park where it's a lot of prizes and a lot of noise and a lot of giveaways. And there's a lot of opportunities to level up. And if you buy this, you could possibly get this. If you put some money here, you could possibly hit the jackpot of blessings. And so you see people, they try to run it like a business. But it's not a business. And it's foolish to try to put one thing into the other and think that it's going to work. But that's really not why I more so said that. What it is for individuals, and each one of us individually, the question is, are you and I, doing the same thing that Elon Musk is doing the same thing that people are doing when they're talking about a business in the church? Are we not respecting other people's area and authority? And are we bringing ourselves over into those areas and authority? Here's an example. Your teacher at your school, at your child's school, they've been working in the school, whether they've been there and they're on a provisional license or they've been there for years and years and years. We think that we know how to educate children more than they know how to educate children. Or we're going to tell them what to do. Now, we have our jobs, whatever our jobs may be. But we know how to do our jobs, and because we know how to do that, then we also know how to be a teacher. Well, that seems a little silly. That seems a little disrespectful of the people who what we're doing. Here's another one. And this one I think is going to it may ruffle a little people a little bit. But I'm going to say it anyway because this is what I believe. We think that we are action, and we can sit back and we can come up with our own action to combat injustice in the world and in America. And so what we do is we decide, all right, here's going to be the action that I'm going to take. Here's how I'm going to make the change. There's a common quote that says, don't talk about change, be the change. And so we're going to decide, because we're in authority and we know I'm a business person, or I have this nice job, or I've done this and I've done that. So I know how to boycott. I know how to have be disobedient, civilly disobedient. I know how to push back and make change. So I'm going to do it on my own, because I know more than the church. I know more than the civic organizations who've been doing this for years. I know more than the leaders, the government leaders and officials who put in the time. Foolish. And so I think we've come to a moment where we got so much education, we got AI, we got the internet, that everyone thinks that they're authority on everything. And I think it's getting in the way of progress, whether it be in or out the church. So we can't all be authorities. Then why do we have pastors? Why do we have teachers in the church? Why do we have deacons and deaconess? Why do we have ushers? If we go tell people where to sit and how to do, look, you're supposed to be able. Well, why do we have ushers? Why do we have people and we don't respect anybody's authority? And I think that it becomes a problem in the church, and it becomes a problem in our lives, because no one is respecting other people's positions, and we're not taking a step back and allowing them to do what they need to do. I love the fact that there's a lot of people out here, and you may have heard me say this here, and definitely if you know me, you've heard me say this. There's a lot of people out here that's trying right now, because we're in a situation of where we have a lot of people who are trying to do a lot of bad things. Our president and our current government, from my standpoint, have been doing a lot of bad and corrupt things, have been breaking the law or skirting the law, or just doing stuff that's just ridiculous, regardless, racist, all that kind of stuff. And people have been coming up with their ways to resist, ways to go back. But I would say, let's respect the authorities. Let's respect the people who have been doing this and put in the work, or to respect the people who this is what they do. Even if you haven't been doing it for years and years and years, but this is what you do. Let's respect them and get behind them and their causes, instead of all of us thinking that we're an authority and trying to do our own thing. I think there's an epidemic of a bunch of people who thinking they're Elon Musk. You think that because you can do a business, that you can do the public sector. He has shown himself to be foolish. Are we showing our individual selves to be foolish on a daily basis by always trying to take in our own stuff and not following others? All right, we got some comments, so I'm going to go there. Several key high-ranking employees of Doge have resigned. They say that many of the things that are being done will ultimately hurt the country. Absolutely. It's disrespectful. It is honestly disrespectful to all of the people who have sat there and worked in government. For somebody to come in and have no idea and no desire to learn and just be like, well, you know what? I got all the answers. You don't. And so ultimately, some of the things that you would do will hurt. Some of the things you do will work. It will work. But the consequences for what's going to go on, the end result of what you're doing is that you're going to make a mess. For all the 2 steps forward you take, it'll be 2 more steps that you're going to take back. And so I believe that. And I believe that that's what people have to do. They have to, resign. They have to speak up. They have to do something. I've always said, talk and keep it playing. I really agree with that comment. But I really think, and if anybody has any comments and disagrees, I really think that there's a problem with us and that we all need to learn, not us, because not everybody acts like this. But as a society, we need to learn to respect other people's positions and other people's authority. And we need to lower ourselves enough that we can get behind other folk. Some of the reasons people can't get with church and get with God is because they have to be the authority. They got to be in charge, I believe. Can't be behind a pastor. Can't be behind Christ. Can't be behind God. You got to make all the rules. Got to do it my way. And so, I think that that's something that we could work on as a group. And especially those who are like me right now and in this moment. We need to make sure that we are not trying to be the captain of every ship and that we can get on somebody else's ship every once in a while. And so if whatever organization is doing something and standing up, you should be able to get on board with an organization sometimes. But we can't all be free agents. We can't all be independent contractors. We can't all be out here thinking that we're going to all make a change. Let's get together. Let's get together and make change. We can't get together if all of us have to be in charge. And so, I had to sit back and examine how I operate and see how other people operate. It is a humbling process. You have to humble yourselves because we've all gotten so arrogant because there's so much information out here that we all think that we're the authority and that we all think that because we did it over here, we can do it over there. Like everything's the same. And it's not. And it's definitely not. All right. Man, I know that one was kind of more just me hitting you with the information instead of less of a conversation, but more of me just hitting you with the information. But that's one that I've been thinking through, working on, and seeing out here in the world, and it's just really been something that I think that we all need to consider. We all need to think through, and we all need to practice. Like, even if you don't think that you do it, you need to practice it now. So let's look through what we do. What organizations are you with? What are you a part of? Are you always by yourself, or are you with a group? If you're not a part of anything, if you're not with anybody, then maybe it's because you think you know it all. Because there's no scenario where you don't need other people. And that's the problem. And so the solution to that is, let's get with some folk. Join something. Do something with other people. Have somebody who is a leader over you in some kind of capacity at some point. And if you can't do that, then that shows, or that may be an example, and that shows that, hey, either, you may have social anxiety, or you may have a little bit of Elon Musk disease. I think I know it all. And I will mess some stuff up thinking that I know it all. All right. Well, that was it. Hopefully that's something that, that'll be useful to you. It is to me. I will examine my life, and I'll continue to examine it and make sure. But I do all think we need to, let's get together. You can't do this on your own, regardless of what it is. You can't do life on your own. And especially in this situation where we have to resist against, I'm going to say it, against bad government. We can't do that on our own. Where we have to go against people who are really being negative in society. You can't help others on your own. You need to be a part of a church. You need to be a part of a community or some kind of organization that helps others. We can't do it on our own. Another comment. Why was the general over the Joint Chiefs fired? Was he first appointed because he was black? Interesting point. Look, let's make it clear and make it plain. There are not going to be any, and if you look, there are not going to be any black. They're going to minimize the number of black people in power. All right, we've been overrepresented in other people's eyes, and so if you can have brown people, of different ethnicities, but when it comes to black people, especially United States American black, you're not going to have those people in power in the government anymore. So I need to remove them if they're there and they're high ranking, and there are no opportunities for anyone in those high ranking positions. That's. Don't believe me? Look it up. Look at the data. Look at the facts. Look at who represents and who's over what agencies, who's over what departments, what department heads. Black is not in vogue right now. Black is not what's good right now. This government, this president, not cool with black people, and so we don't need to sugarcoat it. Again, when it comes to me, I'm talking plain. So to why Joint Chiefs? Why was he fired? Why was the highest ranking, high ranking black officials fired? They don't want no black people there. How come all these black people who went out here on a limb and supported the president when he was running? How come the cabinet is lily white, and then you will have some other people from some other ethnicities, but the black folk are not being represented at all? No power positions? Because they ain't down with black people. So it's plain and clear. It's been like that since the beginning. Nobody's fooled. Nobody should be shocked. And if you are shocked, then you are a fool. That's the way I feel, and I'm going to keep it like that. All right. Great question or great comment. All right, well, that's it. I'm not going to belabor the point. Again, please, we don't talk just to talk. We talk for the action. And so the action will be to analyze and see where you're at and see who you're with. All right, as a reminder, just as was said before, this is Imani, and we have Thursday Thirst, which is our weekly Bible study at 7 o'clock right here on Facebook and YouTube. On Sundays, we have worship service. That's right here on Facebook and YouTube. That's at 10. And on Tuesdays at 7 to 7:45, we have prayer. And then, of course, we have Impact 2025. Now, we have another comment, so I'm going to grab that and pull that in because I don't want to miss it. It says, why is the head of MSNBC is leaving her job? Why is Lester Holt leaving his job? Yes, why was Joy Reid, one of the leading shows, fired from her position? I'm gonna bring that back up. We need people who have we're lacking bravery here. The opposite of that, I could have gone the other route and said that people are cowards, but I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say that we lack bravery. We lack people who have a little bit of oomph, gumption. We have people who are heroes. We lack people who have the ability to go out and do great things. When you have a press corps out here, the Washington press corps, so all of the press corps, they kick the Associated Press out. And so you have all these other people, NBC, ABC, CBS, CNN, all of these other journalistic organizations. They're going to watch the Associated Press get kicked out, and they're going to stand by and they're going to do nothing. They're just going to complain about it, like, "Oh, that was terrible," and they're going to report on it. Whereas the White House has decided now that they're going to pick which journalistic organizations has access to them, and then eliminate everybody else. And the rest of them are just going to stand by and take it. You even look at CNN and MSNBC and NBC, ABC, all of these. You have a lot of good journalists out here who won't ask any real questions or tough questions, who won't challenge, who won't call out things of what they are. Lester Holt is integritous, and there's no room for him here. You can't have somebody who's going to tell you the truth. You can't have somebody who's not going to, just make things look all rosy and lie. So you got to go. And many people have to go like that. But the shame of it is that we don't have anybody who's going to stand up in those power positions. You're in a power position. Oh yeah, you done made it to the top. You at the White House. You're asking questions. You're going to kick out the AP, and you're just going to sit back there and just watch them get kicked out, and you're not going to do anything. There should be no real journalistic organizations in the White House now. Everybody should be out until they bring back the AP. But we don't have any heroes. We don't have any people who are brave, and we don't have that, and we're lacking that. And so what can we do as just regular old citizens? Well, we can do what I said before. We can get together. We get together with a group, and then let's encourage that group so that we can have action, so that we can tell these organizations, y'all need to do better. Y'all can't let bad things happen. Y'all just sit back there and act like, just watch things go by. And so, unfortunately, that's what's happening. We can always reference it back to the word. Jesus talked about the Good Samaritan. Look, a bunch of news organizations just sitting back there, just watching the man, watching him just down in the ditch. And nobody is going to do anything about it. We're just going to go to the other side of the road. And that's what NBC, ABC, all of them, I don't even know all the names of the organizations. But all of y'all should be ashamed of yourself. If all the news medias refuse to cover the White House, what will the White House do? You know what? They'll keep doing what they're doing. Lying, cheating, stealing, being racist, all of that. Nothing's going to change. Just you'll have to report on it, but you won't get their comments. Okay, I don't need your comment to tell me why why you're trying to hurt people and why you're trying to crash the economy. I can clearly see it through your actions and your press releases. So, yes, we won't get the words from the press secretary. Yes, we won't get a couple of words from the vice president or a couple of words from the president every once in a while. Yeah. But if the news media refused to cover the White House and just recovered the results of what they were doing, it would be the exact same thing. They don't have any shame. So, what's the media doing? You're not going to shame them into doing anything. So, integrity, encourage. We need a lot more of it. Great comments. Man, we're on our way out and these comments rolling in. All right. Well, if it's no more, I appreciate it. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. We'll be back here again next week. Hopefully, we'll be able to pull in the guests next week. We're going to really push on that. And again, feel free, if you do want to be a guest or you have any questions and comments or anything like that, you can always contact. You can always put comments into the Facebook and YouTube. We can even see them after the fact. And you can always call or send it or shoot us an email if you have anything that you want to say. All right. Thank you for everybody who came in. Have a good one. And we'll see you next week on Impact 2025.